Yeah.
Hello.
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 Tracy is not available, or she is out for personal reasons, so for tonight, I'll be playing the role of Tracy is.
All right, you're live.
Okay, I call to order the February 25th Board of Selectmen meeting. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, citizen comments.
We have citizens tonight.
We do.
Yes, are you going to be discussing the step grant?
Steve Grant, I know a little bit about it.
It's not on the agenda tonight,
Okay.
but if you have questions about it,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
you're here, we will
Okay,
gladly
citizen
discuss.
comment, I requested and I received a copy of the application. And throughout the application, I thought I had heard that it was for Conga Road and Gay Street.
Original intent was.
And anything that's in here is Congan Road.
Mhm.
For the purpose of improvements and widening for better access to the transfer station for the citizens of Allentown and Sterling. That's the only purpose that's stated throughout the grant application. And on the last page is a signature. The next page is a map. And it shows Route 49, Ogden Road, and in relationship to the transfer station. But then it has the state of Connecticut proposed avian fuel disposal compost site.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we have discussed this several times.
Why? There's nothing about this site mentioned in any of your reasoning. For the purpose of the grant is to improve the road for access of citizens of Allentown and Sterling to use the transfer station. But all of a sudden, you put the disposal site
Did we put that in, or was the state added that?
on.
No, that was just our, application.
Why? Why would you dangle this carrot of this site at the end of a proposed road improvement grant application?
So,
Good question.
great question, and, the state has been trying to push on us.
That's what
Designating
the
the
site
site.
has told us.
Correct, they have mandated that Allentown is going to be one of the bird disposal sites. And we have been pushing back on this.
What is one of?
I think we are the only one of,
That's what I heard.
to the best of my knowledge. And I'm with you on this. I don't want it either.
All three selectmen
Okay,
are
so,
against this.
so with that, so now with that reasoning,
Yep,
why would you put this site at the end of, on a,
on the steep grant
Why would you-
application.
yeah, why would you dangle that
Why
carrot?
would you not put Patchogue State Forest? Why would you put
Well,
the avian flu proposed site?
Yeah.
Why was that
It
demarcation put on that map?
doesn't make sense.
Julie, do you have any idea?
I don't,
Because this is something that Tracy was working on.
Because if I was reading this,
Mhm.
okay, yeah, oh, great, it's a regional, and I think I even brought it up with a dope at the budget meeting that, hey, is there any money out there to improve some roads? Going to the, based on regional
the reason
regionalization.
we picked Congdon was just it's one of those roads that really needs to get done, and if we wanted to see, the Steve Grant was given enough money to finally.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, no, the reasoning is
That was
great,
the
I
whole
mean,
reason. As far
you
as I
know, the drainage is poor and the S curves are crumbling, the shoulders are too soft
That I, or,
for the purpose of going to the transfer station.
I don't
So
know.
why?
I don't know what the correct answer is,
Just looks-
but I'm just wondering, the grant writer who's writing the grant is probably thinking that perhaps it's a
That would
better
help get
selling
the grant.
point to get the money to improve the road.
So, what, if I was with the state, And I would think.
Oh, it's ammunition for the states to
Absolutely,
come in.
absolutely. You, in your proposal for the road improvements for the grant, you let us know that, it's right there.
Well, my understanding is the state has already previously told us this is where the birds are gonna go.
Well, okay, where it says this comment, how far do you want to discuss this?
Well, I don't know if we're having the answers to your questions, but I'll tell you what we know.
Well, okay, well, obviously, it's the only site,
Mhm.
and they're talking either bagging or disposal at an incinerator and or composting, they don't know which.
I don't believe that are even going to consider this, right? I think composting is the only solution the DEP had told us about.
That's what I remember. There was no discussion of an incinerator or this site. It was
They
this
just
site for
showed up and
composting.
walked away and said, this is what we're gonna be doing.
Compost.
Well, that's what it says on here. I had heard that there was potential just storage here for to go to the incinerator. And
I don't remember any discussion about that. It was always composting.
I
We
mean,
discussed all of the
has
requirements around that.
has the board considered, and again, I don't want to take up your time, a special meeting to bring us to the people to get ahead of it instead of, if you go, there's 2 commercial egg producers in Norwich,
Mhm.
and the rest of them, Colebrook, the center of the state, they've all these towns have benefited from the tax revenue over the years. There's one there, the quarry down in Bradstreet is $2.8 million, for $24 million a year. There's a couple at 1.2, 2.8. So
More than that now with the exit.
yeah, right, yeah, but they've benefited with their tax base on the
Right.
buildings, the equipment, people coming into their town, and now we're just gonna dangle a carrot for a road improvement and not push back on the state. I don't understand what's so special about that parcel. That parcel has always been looked
What's special
at.
about it is the state owns the land.
Yeah, but it's always that one parcel behind the transfer station that the state looks at to
Well, this is,
help
if I
study.
understand correctly, it's not the parcel behind the transfer station. It's the parcel as you drive down into the transfer
Right, yeah.
station, it's to the right.
Yeah.
As we had argued this here, when we got the information that the state was going to do this. Our pushback in our own meeting was, well, the state's gonna do this, how can we fight it? And if we can't fight it, how do we get them to, pre-plan for it, so that the material, cover the carcasses and so forth is on site and ready to go. Because if you actually have to call a herd, a million birds or something in Basra
Right,
and drag them out here, where's the dirt? Where's the,
well, right,
where's the composting material? Oh, by the way, where's the structure that covers these piles? So that it doesn't wash off, because we're surrounded by state forests, we have nothing but carnivores. And
well, yeah, well, and right, and that's what
birds that
I was
feed
gonna
on
bring up next. I mean, if Hebron has benefited from their commercial farm there, then bury them in Gay City. State Park, or go to Ditmont, or
Right.
why is it Valentine? There's no.
We're on the same page, we're against it as well too,
Yeah.
but what the DEP basically tells us, this is what we're gonna do. And we own the land, and, short of us suing them, how do we stop?
So why can't get with our elected representatives?
So I believe Tracy had a conversation with Heather and Brian on this topic, but I can't speak for Tracy because she's not here. But I know she either had the conversation or she said she was going to, is what I
Yeah.
remember. And I don't think we ever heard anything back, so I don't know if that conversation happened or if it did, and Tracy just.
I mean, again, this may never come about. If the Berkeley doesn't hit Connecticut, then it's not
I
an
think
issue.
it's an inevitable.
Right, but if it doesn't
I
hit
think
this year,
eventually something's gonna happen.
exactly.
And it just seems like, back in the day when they were gonna allow, when they had the composting operation up there and I think,
Mushroom place?
yeah, I think that was the lawsuits there with the.
Yes, there were, and the
Right,
mushroom farm loss, Franklin mushrooms.
yeah, Franklin Wishers bringing our compost there. It was a gentleman out of Preston that has a farm there that it was his operation.
Hmm.
And, but it was Franklin that was disposing of, but it always just seems to be that for some reason, it's not on the south end of the forest, it's not in the center of the state. It's always that parcel at the end at Concord and Broadway. For some reason, I don't know why. I don't know if there's, you know, previous usage there. They consider it somewhat contaminated and saying.
As far as we know, there's no, the only thing I can think of is, and this is, I'm just thinking out loud here, is because it's right next to the transfer station. So it's a less desirable location, in terms of, there were no houses right next to it. So I'm just guessing there.
Yeah.
You know,
That abuts a farm. As well.
Yeah, what's the name of that short road that goes on? The gentleman just passed away. Is that?
Williams Road.
Yeah.
So you got a farm on Williams Road that hurts this. And
Wheels
so my question would be, has this application been submitted to the state? And can we remove that caveat out of that map? Because I don't think it should be there.
Yeah.
If that was not the intention of this board, that should not be on the map. It should say Patchogue State Forest. And that's it.
There was the right line.
Yeah, no, it's submitted.
That's what it would do.
Just, I mean, just out of curiosity,
I just feel as
I-
something's being hidden here. That,
well, actually, I mean, I'm not happy about the bird carcasses coming here when that should, or if it should ever happen.
correct.
But it's, I think, probably better to have it in the application so that people do know about it. If it weren't in the application, you found out.
No, I feel.
Other than, no, okay, all right.
So
Who sees this application? State. No, wait, the state, nobody ever asked to see this. I just got wind that there's possibly, you know, a little rumor out there that they're improving Concord roads so they can help with the trucks, bring in the bird.
and you wanted to look into it further.
So I said,
I
I
get that.
so I asked for freedom of information and asked, that's where it came up. But if it wasn't for that little rumor, I would have been standing there at town meeting, give you guys all my support to improve Congo Road.
Mhm.
But now I'm questioning, obviously it's gonna make an approval for the citizens of Sterling and Voluntown in the roads that are going to the transfer station.
Yep.
Regionalization, all for it.
Sure.
But now it makes you want to think, so is it that we'll dangle this carrot out there and show you this is improvement, is going to help you to something that you believe is inevitable? Have we fought enough? Have we?
Oh, I wanted to sue the state, but, other people were not fair with that.
So did
I can-
Tracy have a conversation with the town lawyer on it?
Director, I've been on the original discussions on why we chose what we did for the sea grant. And it was strictly because we were looking at, we needed roads to do, and it was $1 million, and we said, let's look at our plan from Beta and what roads would fit it, and Congdon Road was the.
Oh, I
right fit.
agree. I mean,
And
if you
that
look
was
at
the
it from the
only
truck
reason.
traffic over the
There was
years,
no other
yeah,
reason
every
other
time
than
they
that.
tried to improve it, they never,
So,
they never take out redo the shoulders and, you know, they paved it and then they hired Green to do the drainage after that and we can go on and on. It's always just trying to.
No, and I fully get your sticking point
But-
on
but-
that being
but it
listed
doesn't-
as an addendum,
but
or
I
tacked
mean-
on at the end.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying about what road needs it. Okay, great. But the purpose is stated for the transfer station, and then there's the parcel for the bird food.
And I can only guess that the person who wrote the grant application, I didn't write it. Added it simply because it would score better in the
And as
front.
far as my information goes, that was the only reason why.
Did John write this?
Yeah.
Okay, so our town planner, who writes all, part of, 90% of his job is writing grants. And
You guys reviewed and signed off on
understood,
with that map. I feel as if that indication. I understand where he's going, but it's also a bad thing that the state can say, okay, we gave you $1 million to improve this road. We are.
for this reason.
Yes,
No.
and I feel as if we're feeding into their outcome
So
stuff.
what I'm gonna
That said,
suggest,
I know that
I mean,
concrete
how,
road
how,
needs
how,
done,
how hard can you protest
if you're supporting
if
it.
you're
Asking
showing it
for
in a
$1 million.
map, dangling as a carrot to get a grant?
I hear what you're saying and I understand. Even if,
It's like, it's like a
Let's
country,
say-
they're gonna invade us anyways. Nah.
let's say we wrote the grant different, or the grant writer wrote the grant differently and didn't mention the state's prospective use of that land for composting of
Right.
birds that been sold.
Yep, yep.
You're still gonna do it. You know, we're hoping that that doesn't happen. I think John also had looked on the GIS mapping system and decided that whatever this facility was up in Basra, the Pilgrim Pride and so forth, so on, if they do actually have enough room on their property that they could do it there.
Mhm. There was talk also at the two,
Yeah, there's a couple of big farms
Sure.
out there.
two of the big
with-
farms that they would, you know,
Thousands
if it
of
happened that there was room
Sure.
just to keep them on the farms, that it happened that was the other perspective. Why are you trucking them anywhere?
I do
But,
know,
but money in politics being what it is, we have the smallest labor of all the people that would be in this dogfight to get something done. I think that there actually were a avian flu pandemic. And they had to get rid of these birds immediately, and it was a health issue. They're not gonna care whether the roads improved or not, they're still gonna drop them off here, because we're the smallest state, the smallest corner
Okay,
in the middle.
you know, okay, but,
How do we stop them?
well, I don't know, because I mean, I'll go back and check the minutes in the, has there been shame on me, probably, has there been anything on the agenda to bring this to light, other than the discussion amongst the, you know?
if we were discussing it at a selectman meeting, it was on the agenda. So we don't do any side conversations, and if we add something to the agenda, then the agenda gets updated, correct, Julie?
Okay.
When we make a motion to add something.
Yeah,
Right, so
okay.
it's not something where, we haven't been transparent that we've been
No, okay,
discussing
no, I
and vocal
understand
about
So,
that.
Okay, so approximately how long ago was this discussed?
Oh, I think we're at least 9 months ago.
Yeah, it's
That's the last.
six to 12 months ago.
Yeah.
It's in that time range, to narrow down if you want to look at the minutes or the agendas for that time frame. But,
I do believe at some point I've seen a map. And John may have shown us of the whole plan that the state had. And I do know that that site is the last resort site that these big growers, they do have places on their sites that they have to use first.
okay.
So I do know that this is like the last line of defense.
So this is if we have if I understand correctly, the way you describe this, it is, if we've got a few tens of thousands of birds that need to be culled, they're probably gonna be,
They're doing.
they're gonna be kept in place.
They're gonna be kept on their site.
But if we're hitting hundreds or millions, then it's gonna be, they hit capacity, and then it's gonna come to us.
That,
So
I could be wrong on that, but I believe I've seen that along the way somewhere.
I guess Tracy's watching the meeting. She said to tell you that, the state's chicken plan is not due, is due to Brown Road, not Common Road. And the steep grant is for not, but
Okay,
they're using Brown Road, they're not using.
okay, so, like, I stand corrected. It's okay, you're still burying stuff a mile away from my house, but you're not just driving by my house. Yeah.
So what I'm going to suggest, and I'm not trying to shut you gentlemen down,
Oh,
okay?
no.
What I'm gonna suggest is, because The three people who were here do not have all of the information. And since Tracy's watching, I don't feel like I'm throwing her under the bus.
No.
I think it's gonna be a
no.
follow-up conversation with Tracy,
Yeah.
is what you're gonna need to do.
Yeah.
And then, we can put on our agenda for the next Board of Selectmen to, revisit what we previously discussed, because it sounds like there may be new information, particularly what you just described. And we'll go from there.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, sounds like a plan.
so, okay,
And then I have one other question. I see on the agenda about a quote for the town garage air handler. Is this something that got omitted when they did the town garage? Did something break? What's the?
so was this the air handler was inadequate in the original
They
design?
have to make some, they have to make some fixes, I don't know.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, when we discussed this, it was the air handler as originally designed
Was not big enough.
was not big enough. And so now that it's in use, we're discovering after the fact that the original design was not adequate.
The original design was meant for a mechanic shop, and it's not a mechanic shop, so it was to change it from a regular shop, from a mechanic shop, so this was the building inspector's recommendation.
We just wanted to know, that building's fairly.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, why are
To
we?
make it more efficient.
And wasn't there a couple of other things? Since you brought it up,
No.
there were a couple of other things on the garage too.
There was something, it was also using.
The oil water separator?
Wasn't the air handler also using a
What's that?
tremendous amount of propane?
Yeah, so this was strictly to make it more efficient.
Yeah, but what, I thought there was something
Yeah,
else.
so I know they've been going through a lot of propane because
Yeah.
Yes,
I will leave it at that.
yes. So, but I think there was another minor issue that was missing. There was something that was missing from the original design.
It was designed to be a mechanic shop, and when you're bringing in trucks, you've
They're
gotta have,
losing too much heat.
you got all the carbon, in there, you gotta be able to have the air handlers open to let all that out, we're not
Yeah.
a mechanic shop, we don't need that. So it's strictly to make sure,
Yeah.
Yeah,
to make it more efficient, because we're not using it as a mechanic shop.
That's all I had questions.
well, gentlemen, thank you both very much for coming in to have this conversation with us. We appreciate it.
Hang out for.
Sure.
That's it.
Okay, moving on. Approval of the minutes, for the last two meetings. I was not at the last two meetings, so we are not going to approve the minutes. We'll have to wait until Tracy's back in order to approve the last two meetings. Do we have any additions to the agenda? Okay, correspondence and announcements. We didn't have any, did we?
No.
Okay. Public Works report. Yeah,
No public works.
okay. Local Traffic Authority, I didn't see anything in here for Local Traffic Authority, although I do want to point out,
What is the local traffic flow?
Work traffic.
Tracy is the Local Traffic Authority
Okay.
by state statute, and we don't have one.
Right, yeah, like for the final seconds.
Yeah, exactly. But since we're on Local Traffic Authority, I do want to bring up our brand spanking new school signs. There's an issue with the one at the Chucky's end.
What's wrong with
There's two yellow lights on top,
Mhm.
and they only start blinking during set hours that we program.
Yes.
Right now, as you're looking at it, so light's coming this way, the rightmost light is on and like dim and almost flickering.
Oh.
So, we're gonna need to get Public Works to have a look at that.
One of the lighting.
I don't know if there's something else going on with it, because I've seen it's working the way it's supposed to during school hours, morning and afternoon.
Mhm.
But during the in-between phase, one yellow light is on and it's almost got a flicker to it. So there could be a short, is what I'm thinking. Okay. Finance report. Finance Director.
I gave you the expenses and, we got the, governor's proposed budget. Right now, he is proposing to cut $114,565 from our EPS fund, and he is proposing to cut $45,670 from the pilot. They are expecting to give us the supplemental revenue sharing, 60,000, and I think for some reason they're expecting that the cut from pilot was meant to be backfilled by the, but I'm not 100% sure about that one.
So what's it looking like right now, our
Right
total
now-
net loss?
100,000. So Tracy, I know Tracy went out last week to,
Yeah, I saw she was up waiting in line with 400
she
other
was there
people.
till 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
Protest, so you get funding. So we're starting the budget now. Other things we're working on is, switching over the P cards, to the new credit card system. The municipal spending cap this year is, the rate of inflation is 3.3%. So if we go above 3% of our budget, there's a certain, one of the fundings will be cut. I think it's the supplemental revenue sharing. We won't get the whole 60,000 if we, go above 3%. Then that's between the school and the town fund for the entire budget. So
Would that affect us if Adam comes in to ask for this additional money for the special
that's
legislation?
just your budget, so that won't affect us. This is for the 26 budget year. Seat submission was done, and the other thing we worked on is there's a new Roth, for town employees to, contribute to. So if anybody's interested in that.
Is that standard Roth or backdoor Roth?
No, standard Roth, it's
Standard.
just a 450, Roth option for 75.
Okay,
After tax
okay,
versus pre-tax.
And it's not subject to any income limitations.
because it's a 457.
Right.
Okay,
And so I
okay.
have
If
so
I have
many,
questions, I'll take a brain on that.
so Tony's, I can
Yeah,
get
sure,
Tony's
sir.
report. We've made.
Yeah, so for the treasurer's report,
87,000 year to date in, interest and investments and 6,600. Right now, I think the interest rate's still at 4.45%.
which,
We are opening a new, savings account at Centerville, and their rate's about the same thing. So one of the things we've done is switch from, Citizens Bank to Centerville. And that way we don't have to keep a certain amount. Right now, we have to keep a certain amount of Citizens. Going to Centerville, we don't have to do that, so that'll allow us to, invest more of the money we have. They also have a savings account at 4.5%. We don't have to send the money to this account. We can keep it right there, and it's easier to
okay,
transfer back.
so we're getting a higher interest rate without the
It's
restrictions. Okay,
And he's working on some.
I have one quick question on the fund. So I understand the state's gonna cut $100,000.
This is just the first,
Yeah. But our assessments went way up this year, pretty much, which I know the mill rate will dictate.
Mill rate will get cut,
Yeah.
but your check will be larger.
Well, yeah, so I
Right.
mean, are we getting, right, so, I mean, with the assessments being higher, if the mill rate doesn't drop, are we still okay with the total budget if the state cuts $100,000?
with the total revenue coming in from taxes.
are we, meaning, will our mill rate still drop, or?
No, I'm saying if it was to stay the same, if the
our
mill rate
budget-
was to stay the same with the new assessments, would we cover that $100,000?
I mean, by stay the same, like, what are?
For
mill
fiscal year
rates now?
26.
Yeah,
Well, the mill rate's gonna go down quite a bit.
Yeah,
But,
I
well,
guess-
there's two different pieces of that, you know what I mean?
correct. I'm just saying, if we lose $100,000, we have to make.
So there's a couple other things we've got too, there's the, more investments. So we're working
Right,
on-
and that was the point I was just gonna make, it's, we're at
Be, recovered through investment.
$87,000 we have from
Right
our
now-
money, interest we've earned on our money, basically, which we didn't have 3-4 years ago. So we're now down to a $14,000
Yeah.
It
deficit.
won't be, it'll,
So-
it will increase.
So there's a lot of different levers that we're pulling to try and make sure that we don't have to jack up the mill rate, particularly since the assessments just went up. So,
I would just,
no, again, thank you.
The mill rate now, right now is like 250,000 is one mill rate, so this is like a half a mill rate. And with this, some of the other revenue coming in, it should hopefully make up for that. So, but I don't have all the numbers in yet, so I don't know.
And are they, what's the maximum, or what's the recommendation they want you to keep in the
3.3%.
3.3? That used to be higher before, right?
They're saying the inflation rate this year is 3.3%.
no, I think you're.
Last year.
Is that what you're asking?
No, well, yeah, you kind of, they always wanted, in your undesignated fund, they wanted you to keep a certain percentage.
Oh,
of
that's
your
the
budget.
difference, so yeah, so that's.
Wasn't that like 8%?
Yeah, I was gonna say 7.5 or 8%.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
That was fine, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
And
I
what
think,
is,
I think we've had it as high as 11%, and we,
7 to 12%.
yeah, and
that's
part of when we let that run a little bit hot, a little bit heavier than 8%, is when we're trying to forecast around the blanking capital improvement projects.
Right, yeah.
So when we know we've got a big expense coming for that, like a fire truck or things like that, we let that run up a little bit.
Yeah.
So a little bit easier.
Mhm.
Okay. Moving on, old business, ARPA funds, that's coming to a close.
Yeah, we're just
When?
waiting on
The final
radios to
closeout?
get it built.
The radios,
That's pretty much the last project and the final, final payment for the, plans for the fire. We have one payment.
TRIP, community connectivity grant,
We're working on the state has reviewed our plan. They've got a couple questions, or once those are answered, we'll have the, design phase done fairly soon, and then we can start working on the construction too.
and then the SIF, water study.
The tips that, oh, that's the water study.
Did you flip them again?
Huh?
Did you flip them again?
There's-
I know we're always flipping them when we talk about them.
Community connectivity one, there's not really much going on with that right now. We just got the brochures today, that we're gonna put out to the,
To the businesses and the residents in town center. Okay. New business. Appointments to the TVCCA.
Tony, right?
Yes. Seeing that?
It's page 16 and 22, I believe.
Thank you, there it is. Numbering. Once. There it is. That's it. Okay. So Tony Madeira is requesting, has volunteered to be appointed to the TVCCA Board of Trustees. So do I have a motion to appoint Tony Madeira to the TVCCA Board of Trustees?
Yes.
I second the motion. Any discussion? No. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Okay, Tony is appointed to the TVCCA.
The notice, thanks.
Yes, we haven't had anyone on that in a while, have we?
no,
Appointment to the Library Board of Trustees. I saw that, and that is,
Page number 17 and 20.
yes, Nancy Zabel. Zabel?
they,
Well, okay, again, Nancy is requesting to be appointed to a vacancy on the Library Board of Trustees. Thank you, Nancy. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Nancy Zabel is hereby appointed to the Library Board of Trustees. There's another one back there. And then driveway permits for Frontier. And this is for,
there's four drivers, yeah, 3 are for Frontier, 1 for.
got it. So we've got 101 North Shore Road. We've got 17 Rachel Lane. We have 84 High Top Hill Road, and we have 281 Gallup Road.
I have a question on the first one. There's no listed surety company? Or bond amount?
Hmm?
For the one at
Not
101
gonna
North?
count.
Yeah,
But it is not, it's listed as $0 on here. This is for 101 North Shore Road.
Oh, there should be, I don't know what I thought was on there. Still $1,000. I'll ask the building department.
Can we do a pen and ink on that, and then we can vote on it and approve this?
It's not really a bond, they don't do a bond surety company, it's an actual check. Maybe that's fine.
Or do
well,
we need to
the
check?
others, the other is probably a commercial contractor, and that's why it's one company, but it's the same name.
Yeah,
yeah.
Liberty Mutual, Liberty Mutual. Okay,
So if I would get a check from the homeowners, $1,000 a month there,
or the builder,
right?
Greg V. Calkins Custom Build. So, before we approve this, how do we verify that we've gotten $1,000 check? Do you have that record?
I asked, I asked, Taylor before I put that in there too. So
She's received $1,000 check from all four?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
they have to.
You
and so
check with
in order
Taylor,
to
I
get
accept
permit,
that.
They have to pay the permit.
Okay, so 4 driveway permits. Can I get a motion to approve these 4 driveway permits?
So moved.
Second, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor? Aye, the ayes have it. All 4 driveway permits, as listed, are approved. I believe we are on to, town garage air handler
Yeah, I have
system
not
estimate.
forward that to operate.
Okay, so,
Actually,
you have a quote there?
Refund.
I know, we've got a tax refund, but,
Yeah,
We don't have the
air
estimate for the
handler,
air handler.
yes,
okay, so, we answered your question adequately on why. Okay, we don't know how much, so when we get that, we may be coming back.
Oh, we just wanted to know what it was.
Understood. And then
You need to table that for next.
Yeah.
meeting.
Table for next week.
we will table that for next meeting. Thank you, Robert's Rules of Orders, appreciate it for the backup. And then we have a tax refund as recommended by the tax collector. Is it just? Yes,
$73.
$273 to
Andrew B. Couch.
Andrew B. Couch. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the tax refund as recommended by the tax collector?
So moved.
Seconded, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye, the ayes have it. The refund will be issued to Andrew Cruz. Any suggestions for the next meeting? Other than the air handler estimate?
We should check to make sure that we have the information available. These gentlemen have requested.
We will, in addition to the air handler, we will also put down to revisit the discussion of the
Congdon
state's
Road.
planned use of their property on Congdon Road for bird pandemic.
No problem.
Brown Road, thank you. As Tracy was nice enough to call it correct.
March 11th.
Yep. Other than that? You have any other? Would you like to make another motion?
Was the meeting. So moved.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Again,
Thanks for coming in.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming and hanging out for the rest of